Let's head over to last night's Monday Night Football game and break it down. So here we go. Raiders, Chargers, and the Chargers end up pulling away with this one, winning 28-14 after a half-hour, 45-minute lightning delay in a dome. How unfortunate was that last night? Jeez, you go to watch the game and they're like, 35, 40 minutes later. And the countdown crew, they did not look into that at all. The four people down on the field talking, their body language was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm not talking another 40 minutes before this game can start again. We just told y'all everything. Now we have to kind of say it all again and come up with everything on the fly. So they just did not look into it at all. But the game ends up tipping off and kicking off a little later. And the Chargers, hey, they were ready to go. They went down and scored a touchdown on the first drive, set the tempo 7-0, and the Raiders were still not showing up after the delay because they didn't put up any points in the first half. Then, after halftime, they come out and put up 2 touchdowns on consecutive drives to make it a little competitive. But then, after a missed field goal, Justin Herbert goes on a 10-play, 58-yard, 5-minute drive that puts him up 2 scores and only leaves about 5 minutes left on the clock, and the game was basically over. So, Raiders got out to a little bit of a slow start. And Justin Herbert comes up clutch when he needs to, which is great. And then another thing just to kind of touch on here, a lot of people, people that talk about sports in the national media, they like grab onto one team that's doing really, really good, and then they just kind of say they're always good, just to kind of make them right, and just kind of like, that's not what we do here on the show. This is, folks, we say it all the time, we do everything here on the show for a reason. We break down every game, every performance. What are they looking like? How are they scoring? How are they losing? How are they not scoring? How are their drives looking? We go in depth on all of that every single week for a reason, folks, because everybody on that kind of Monday night countdown, especially during that kind of 45-minute segment that they had to fill before the game started, everybody was truly kind of overvaluing, in my opinion, the Raiders and the Chargers. Morally, the Raiders so than the Chargers, but everyone was like, this is like a top 5 team in the league, a top 3 team in the league, maybe the best team in the league, and I'm like, yes, this Raiders team is good, but folks, did y'all not remember what happened the last 2 seasons? They got out to good starts. They looked good in the first half, and this is what we've been saying all off season heading into the season, folks. Don't get kind of bamboozled if this Raiders team comes out to a good start like they have been doing, because they did that the last 2 years, folks, under John Gruden. We know Derek Carr can play. And once again, they were kind of harping and hyping up Derek Carr, saying Derek Carr is one of the most elite quarterbacks in this league. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I feel like now that the media, the national media, is finally looking at the Raiders and finally kind of talking about the Raiders, they're just going overboard with it. They're overvaluing the Raiders, where we are kind of starting to kind of not truly fade the Raiders 100%, but we are keeping the Raiders kind of in check because we know this is what they do. We really can't evaluate the Raiders 100% until kind of like week 9 and 10, once we're starting to get into the back end of the season. So I just think it's the wrong time to get above and beyond buying into this Raiders team, folks, and that's definitely going to reflect in our power rankings. I'll spoil it right now. The Raiders aren't even in the top 10 anymore after this loss. Their offense struggled. Their defense played solid. They only held the Chargers to 28 points. That's not bad. They only held them to 14 points in the first half, or 21 points in the first half, only gave up 7 points in the second half, and they were able to kind of hold the door open a little bit longer for the Raiders to try to kind of take advantage and come back and win the game. But then, like we said, Herbert goes on a nice drive in the fourth quarter. Was this topped off by, who was this topped off by? Jared Cook? Who scored this last touchdown? We got Tight End University coming up. It was Austin Eckler, but I believe Jared Cook had a nice big catch. Yeah, 13-yard pass that we're definitely going to watch when we break down and give grades out to tight ends. So Justin Herbert comes down and scores a touchdown and really kind of ices the game. But when we look at what Derek Carr was doing, just kind of a little lackluster overall from last night. So let's just kind of keep the Raiders in check a little bit. We're not going to kind of be, we haven't even been, and this is what we said kind of already. I mean, why we weren't kind of over exaggerated on the Raiders to begin with heading into this game was, I mean, they won all their games kind of in overtime. They should have lost to the Ravens in overtime, but Lamar Jackson fumbles, they get bailed out, and they take advantage. And that's definitely a great thing that we definitely talk up on the show that, goes into our algorithm of what we think and what makes good teams according to us, taking advantage of all the turnovers. And the Raiders did that in overtime, but still it took a turnover in overtime for them to win the game. So they could have lost to the Ravens. Then they go and beat the Steelers. But are the Steelers even a good team? We can't even classify the Steelers as a good team. So overall, that's not the best win. And then they go and face the Dolphins with no quarterback and almost lose that game. And it goes into overtime. And it took their second possession in overtime to win after they let the Dolphins go down and score that game-tying field goal in overtime. So they get another chance to try and win in overtime, and they do. But once again, they almost lost to the Ravens, and they almost lost to the Dolphins. I mean, this could have been a 1-2 team going into the Chargers, and after the Chargers, they're 1-3. And nobody would be talking about the Raiders the way that this national media and all the kind of sports media heads are talking about the Raiders and how they're talking about Derek Carr. Derek Carr truly deserves respect. He's a really solid quarterback. He didn't have the best game last night, but this is what we're saying. This is what we know of the Raiders. They flounder as the season progresses. They get figured out. They don't change their schemes. They can't change their schemes, and they just get figured out, and that's why they don't make the playoffs at the end of the year, folks. So, if you want to get big on this Raiders team, that's fine. We're not going to stop y'all from getting big on this Raiders team, but I'm just saying temper down expectations and just know what Jon Gruden is as a head coach. It's really just Jon Gruden, in our opinion. We don't blame Derek Carr. It's really just the coaching, and we'll see if it again happens this season, but we kind of got our answer last night. A lackluster performance overall. They didn't get out to the hot start. Jon Gruden's not making any excuses about saying, hey, it was the lightning delay that got us off. We're or got us out to that slow start or non-existent start because they didn't put up any points in the first half. And we're going to look at that quote after we break down this game a little bit more, but still, they're not using that as an excuse, so we're not going to use that as an excuse either. They came out bad, they did not look good, and, they lose the game, and now they're 3-1, and we'll see how they perform for the rest of the season. But let's get into Derek Carr in this Raiders team a little bit. Here we go. Derek Carr goes 21 of 34. 21 of 34 for 61% completion percentage. That's not really what we're looking for there. And only 196 yards, so a little bit of dink and dunk overall, folks. It was 4th and 2. This man dinked it down. It was another 4th down. This turnover on downs right here. It's 4th and 3, and Derek Carr passed short to Josh Jacobs. We don't have the all 22 up quite yet, so hopefully it's up by tomorrow, because I do want to look at these kind of let me see if I can bring this up quickly. I want to do it very, very quickly, but this is what we talk about when we talk about dink and dunk. Folks, I understand you have to take what the defense gives you. I get that. I 100% get that. And you have to kind of take the checkdowns because the pressure's coming. I get that, folks. That goes without saying. But when you're dinking and dunking, and you get too caught up in the dink and dunk, and you don't trust your arm, and you don't trust your playmakers on the boundaries, your wide receivers, and then you keep dinking and dunking. We see it with Teddy Bridgewater. It's unfortunate, and it kills me every time I say that, because I truly root for Teddy Bridgewater, and I really want to see him be successful in this league, but he dinks and dunk, and we're going to watch it on Wednesday tomorrow on our show, our film study show, because he was just dinking and dunking the entire time, not stretching the field vertically against the Ravens defense. And he kind of did that in Carolina. And if you get too caught up in the dink and dunk, then you dink and dunk on 4th and 3. I mean, he threw it like 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, folks, to the back. And then that gives time for the linebacker and the other defender to chase him down and stop him short of the first down. Did they get any? I don't think they got any yards on this 4th and 3. You check it down on 4th and 3, you're going to turn the ball over regardless. So take the shot, take the deep shot. You dink it off on 4th and 3, folks. Dink and dunk. It can come back and hurt you. I understand you have to take what the defense gives you, but overall, through the course of the game, it kind of averages out your dinks and dunks and your big throws. That's why we always kind of look at that 10-yard rule. We really want to see at least 10 yards minimum for pass completion, because that kind of tells you overall you weren't dinking and dunking the whole game. But 21 completions for 196 yards, dinking and dunking on 4th and 3, that's what the Raiders were doing the entire game. They weren't able to move the ball deep and stretch the field vertically, and obviously that hurt the Raiders, because that's kind of what they do. They stretch the field vertically with their great speed of Hunter Renfrow and the big tight end of Darren Waller. That's their game. The big arm of Derek Carr, that's their game. But they couldn't get to their game last night. So the dink and dunk, it hurt Derek Carr last night, folks. He dinked it on 4th and 3, and I think he had one more. We had another turnover on downs here. Was it this one? A 4th and 7. Pass incomplete, short right to Henry Ruggs. It would have stopped like 3 or 4 yards short if it even was completed. But once again, and this was a turnover on downs on their very last possession of the game, which really, I mean, they were already down 2 possessions, so, you know, the game is already over at that point. But the game is already at that point, and you're still dinking and dunking? Oh my goodness, what are we doing out here? So Derek Carr didn't have the best game. We're not going to be 100% fading Derek Carr, but now, I mean, the media just yesterday, I mean, folks, if you watch that pregame show, there was nothing but praise and gushing over Derek Carr. All we're just saying is that we do this every single day and every single week, and we break down everybody. I just think the media is now finally catching up on what we've been saying all along on Derek Carr, but this is the wrong time to do it. It was the wrong time to do it, because we know how the Raiders progress through their seasons, and we just saw it 2 years in a row, so we're expecting it the same thing to happen here, and we kind of got that early glimpse that the same thing is going to happen, that the Raiders are going to flounder in the back half of the season. Obviously, we don't want that. I would love to see Derek Carr be great and get into the playoffs. Tight end university, Darren Waller is one of the best tight ends. You don't think I want to see Darren Waller in a playoff game in the Super Bowl? I would buy a Darren Waller jersey if he got to the Super Bowl. He doesn't even have to win it. I would buy the game. I would buy the jersey and wear it for the game. We love the tight ends out here. And folks, we don't knock players and teams like that. I know y'all are fans of the teams, and I put a lot of energy into the Dolphins, folks. I put that aside for the show. But, I get it. That's your favorite team, and we're not talking about them in the most positive light, but I'm just giving you an unbiased, outside observer, unobjective breakdown of what we're seeing. We're not actively trying to hurt y'all out there or hurt these players. We're just saying what we're seeing out here unobjectively, folks. So I just think the national media is a little bit over on what they should be on Derek Carr in this Raiders team. And I think it showed last night. So Derek Carr, not great. Dink and dunk, only 196 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. He did have an interception as well. The interception came in the 4th quarter when they were down 28-14. I believe it was Derwin James. Goes out and jumps the route and picks it off. Only about 3 minutes left, so down 14 points with 3 minutes. It's kind of over at that point, so that interception doesn't hold that much weight overall here. So we're not going to knock Derek Carr too much on that pick, but we will knock him on, all these 3 and outs to start the game. Second drive, 3 and out. Third drive, 3 and out. Fourth drive was that turnover on downs that he dinked it down on 4th and 3. Second drive went 6 plays, 33 yards, ends in a punt, and then the last drive, 3 and out again. So just could not move the ball in the first half, and it's just unfortunate. Let me see if I can bring this dink up really quickly. We got 11:41 in the second quarter. Let me see if I can bring it up quickly. If we can't, we'll move on. No worries. Just a little bit of a dink. Just a little dink on 4th and 3. That's not when you should be dinking down the ball. What is that? All right, so let's see if we can get this up. What do we say? 11:41. What's the time here? What do we got? What's the time on the clock? All right. Skip it ahead a little bit. We'll give it 20 more seconds. All right, we're right here almost. We're at 10:31. That's why, I mean, when they don't have the plays up, we just got to scroll through a 3-hour broadcast, folks. So no worries there. And this is what we have to do for the tight end show. We have to go through all these plays because by Tuesday, they don't have the all 22, and you can just click on the play and it brings you to it. So we have to scroll a little bit, but we are getting there, folks. We are getting there 10 seconds at a time. And here we go. We just want to show the dink. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is going to be the dink, folks. Here we go. He's dinking it. This is after the replay. So everything, I mean, you can go right here over the middle of the field. Why is Derek Carr? This is at the first down boundary. Go to there, the first down. You get this wide receiver breaking out. Seems like he's got some solid leverage right here that Derek Carr can fit it in. But then he just dinks it down to the running back after the linebacker is already going there to shut it down because he sees it coming, and he just dinks it down. Folks, we're talking about 1, 2, 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage on a 4th and 3. So you just made a 4th and 3, a 4th and 6, with your running back having to allude to oncoming fast as heck great Chargers defenders. So this is what we talk about with the dink and dunk. If you get too caught up in the dink and dunk, especially early on in the game, when you don't kind of set that kind of, all right, what can I do? Set that kind of, oh man, I'm just blanking on the word. Set that kind of precedent. Let me set the precedent early on in the game. Take those chances. Take those shots down the field. Trust my guys so they're warmed up and they're ready for the times where they have to step up in the big scenarios. And a 4th and 3 is kind of a big scenario. So they weren't ready for it. Derek Carr wasn't ready for it. Derek Carr was not able to kind of trust his arm to see what he could do up until this point because we're talking about 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. So he gets too caught up with the dink and dunk and then dinks it off on 4th down and 3, and the running back barely gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's a turnover on downs because of the dink and dunk by Derek Carr. You have to understand where you are in the field, what the down and distance is, what those kind of mojo plays are. This was a huge mojo moment play, folks, right here early on in the first half, and he goes and squanders it, and they don't do anything for the rest of the first half. It all starts with this mojo moments, mojo plays, and Derek Carr didn't recognize it, and they kind of lose the game kind of because of it. You can kind of trace it back a little bit to this, a little bit. So that's just what we mean with dink and dunk, folks. I get it. You don't have to say, folks, like y'all love to live for like the Twitter dunks. Oh my God, he didn't say this, so I can say this, and then he's kind of wrong or incorrect. No, I get it. It's already taken apart into our algorithm. It's already taken apart into our thinking. This is why we do the show every single day to see what is happening. All right, we get this one great performance by a quarterback. All right, well now it's, Sunday, so now, we liked what we saw on Thursday by this one quarterback, but now it's Sunday. So what are they all doing? Oh, they're doing a little bit better, a little bit more. Oh, they did this instead of that, like the one quarterback did. So now we have to change our thinking about that Thursday night quarterback because we just saw what the Sunday quarterbacks all did. And then it comes to the Monday game. And now we have to, reflect our thinking because we just got Derek Carr dinking and dunking on 4th down and 3. What quarterbacks didn't do that? Are they a little bit better? What happens? We take it all and we talk football an hour and a half, 2 hours every single day here and just constantly not changing our overall minds, but critiquing and seeing what we're doing and actively thinking and actively comparing every single day, every single week, and going back and seeing what they did last season. Are they still doing the same things in the same scenarios? Are they growing? Are they getting better? Are they regressing? That's what we do. We are actively learning here, actively not 100% changing our mind, but we're getting all this information in every single day and in depth and breaking it down, and then we form our opinions based off of all this changing information every single day. We get more information about Urban Meyer coming out every single day, and it reaffirms our belief of, hey, he lost the locker room by kind of signing Tim Tebow, and now it's all kind of coming back out that, reaffirms our belief. So now our thinking is right on par. So we can still say those narratives, still say those things, still say those opinions because it's getting proofed a couple of months later. Once again, always going back, always reevaluating, always kind of learning and taking in all the information. That's what we do here on the show, folks. Y'all in the national media just take one opinion and run with it because it gets clicks and it's the Raiders, it's the Chiefs, it's the Bucks, it's the big name. I'm just going to run with it, and they don't change it. That's why all the media is on Derek Carr and the Raiders. Raiders when really we should be fading them a little bit. I'm not saying be 100% sold or like selling this Raiders team, but just not as much as the national media is, folks. That's what we do here every day, looking, learning what the hell is going on, breaking it down. What does it all mean? That's what we do here every day, folks. If you don't know, after the last year and a couple of months, this is what we do here on the show, folks. All right, I don't even know where we were. That tangent, it got us good. The dink and dunk. All right, so Derek Carr was dinking and dunking the game, folks. All right, let's look at the running backs here for the Raiders. Josh Jacobs, 13 carries for 40 yards, no touchdown. He did go this game, which, he was kind of a game-time decision. He kind of screwed me on fantasy because I didn't think he was going to go, so I had to put Myles Gaskin in, and Myles Gaskin got me 1 point, and Josh Jacobs got me like 16 points, and I would have won. So Josh Jacobs, damn you, but okay. But yeah, Josh Jacobs, not too impactful here, unfortunate. But he did play 13 carries, 40 yards, nothing great, nothing bad, and, definitely didn't jumpstart this offense at all. So unfortunate there by Josh Jacobs. Let's see who Derek Carr was throwing to. Henry Ruggs, 3 receptions for 60 yards, no touchdown. Darren Waller, 4 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown. Hunter Renfrow, 6 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown, and he had that big ol' fake punt tackle that saved the first down. So Hunter Renfrow getting it done in every kind of aspect of the game. So you absolutely love that by him. But just in the receiving game, just never really clicked together in this game against the Chargers defense. And then we get Josh Jacobs, 5 catches out of the backfield for 17 yards as well. And look at this, Willie Snead getting into the mix, 1 reception for 15 yards. So they've got all the pieces. They just couldn't quite put it together last night, unfortunately. All right, now let's look at Justin Herbert. And once again, Justin Herbert didn't look as great as everybody was hyping him up to be. We love Justin Herbert, folks. I mean, we, highly kind of rank him as one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But once again, I think the national media, yesterday was overvaluing Justin Herbert a little bit. And we love Justin Herbert. So relax a little bit. But Justin Herbert didn't have the best performance last night. A little bit of, dink and dunk himself, not truly airing it out. 25 of 38 for 65% completion percentage. Real solid right there. Only 222 yards, but he did have 3 touchdowns. He got out to a really nice start. Scoring on the first drive is something we absolutely love right there, so that's fantastic, especially at home, truly setting the tempo. And then applying 2 more touchdowns right before halftime on back-to-back drives. That's absolutely fantastic, and taking advantage of kind of all the 3 and outs there by the Raiders. So Justin Herbert played pretty solid in the first half, scored when he needed to, got that big lead, struggled to move the ball a little bit in the second half, but then ended up putting kind of a game-winning touchdown drive on the board. So real solid work there by Justin Herbert, and that's kind of, why we buy Justin Herbert. He's been really clutch here. The last the last 7 games of the season. Last year he won about 6 of them, and now this season he's being very competitive, winning these close games. Almost beat Dak Prescott, only lost by 3 points there to Dallas, a really solid team. And then last week beating the Chiefs, and then this week being clutch and beating the Raiders. So Justin Herbert is proving that he can win games, and he's not trying to do too much, and he knows those mojo moments. He knows when he needs to go out and make that play. He knows when he needs to go out and kind of make that touchdown and not settle for 3 and truly score 7 instead of kicking the field goal for only 3 points, and when to kind of go on this long drive. I mean, in the second half, we had, the Raiders coming out with 2 straight touchdown drives. The Chargers came out with 2 straight punts. Then the Raiders come out on their 3rd drive out of halftime and miss a field goal. And that's when Justin Herbert knew, all right, we're at great field position. We got this momentum back. We can ice the game. And then he goes on a 5-minute drive that caps off with the touchdown. That's mojo moment right there to a T. And Justin Herbert can recognize it. He picks up a nice 4th and 2, folks. He picked up a 4th and 2 to Jared Cook, and we're going to watch that play because we're going to celebrate Jared Cook today in the tight end department. So that was fantastic by him on 4th and 2 to pick it up. But that mojo moment, Justin Herbert, he knows it, and he can definitely play to it. So fantastic. All right, so Justin Herbert, a solid performance, nothing great, nothing bad. Got it done when he needed to, so that's fantastic. The rushing game, Austin Eckler is proving fantastic. We've always loved Austin Eckler. Great in the dual threat running back position, rushing the ball, 15 carries for 117 yards and a touchdown. That was absolutely fantastic. And then they had their other running back, Larry Roundtree III. Not the best performance, 11 carries for 31 yards, but you got Austin Eckler to do the bulk of the work. All right, and then who was Justin Herbert throwing to? Jared Cook, the tight end, the leading receiver here for the Chargers. 6 receptions for 70 yards and a touchdown. Keenan Allen, 7 catches for 36 yards. Then we had Stephon Anderson, 1 catch for 34 yards. Austin Eckler in the dual threat game, 3 catches, 28 yards, and a touchdown. Fantastic. Justin Jackson, 4 catches, 17 yards. And then Donald Parham, 2 catches, 17 yards, and a touchdown as well. So Donald Parham is a tight end, correct? He is. Look at that man getting into it. So Justin Herbert relying on his tight ends here. Safety blankets. All right, no worries, no big deal. He ends up coming away with the win. Fantastic. Just not able to kind of hit his downfield wide receivers in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams that much. So. And once again, a little reflected in the only 222 yards on 25 completions. It's a little bit of dink and dunk, but he dinked and dunked it right. Not like Derek Carr. There is nuance, folks. There is nuance in everything we truly say. It's not just binary. Oh, well, you said dink and dunk, so you don't know what you're talking about. It's not that, folks. It's different levels. It's nuances to the dink and dunk. And we saw Justin Herbert do it right and Derek Carr not to do it correctly. It was last night, folks. That's what it was. So the Chargers get the nice 28-14 win. Well done by Justin Herbert. Once again, a no turnover game, which is fantastic. After 2 interceptions against the Cowboys, no interceptions against the Chiefs, no interceptions here against the Raiders. Fantastic cleaning up his game. We love it. So that was the Chargers and the Raiders. Chargers win 28-14. Alrighty. Now that we broke down the Monday Night Football game, we got